somebody's boating up a storm out there, huh?
Speedboat.
Welcome or welcome back to Living in the Pacific Northwest with Hal Byrd. Today we're going to be sharing a driving tour with you, so if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. We get a ton of requests for more driving tour footage because it really helps our relocation clients learn and understand the area. On a particular day, we found ourselves driving along Marine Drive, which is a beautiful road that is along the Columbia River, and we were headed from somewhere around I-5 over to the Costco near the PDX airport. And so we decided to film driving along this road and give you guys a little insight into what's going on about it. There's all sorts of wildlife here, so if you're moving here for wildlife, you can definitely get it. We've got river waves crashing on the beach there. Do you want to show them? And what were those, seagulls? Seagulls fighting?
Yeah, it wasn't ospreys.
You can just enjoy the beauty of the Northwest. So without further ado, we're gonna take you along this driving tour. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have any requests. We've got airplanes, we've got all sorts of things today. If you have any requests for other driving tours in particular areas or subdivisions that you like, and if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in the Pacific Northwest and you'd love me to represent you as your realtor, just make sure to shoot me a text at 360-818-4438. I would love to represent you. I think you're really gonna like it. Come along. Here we begin our tour of Marine Drive along the south shore of the Columbia River. This is at the base of the I-5 Interstate Bridge, south of Hayden Island, and really the most north part of the city of Portland. What you'll see as we cross the interstate and start to head east is some apartments and condos. We have some condo complexes like Muse at North Harbor, Roth Estates, South Shore Estates, Channel Condominiums. So this is a great place if you are looking for some waterfront living in Portland. Now, this happens to be a gorgeous day in late September to give you an idea of what it's like to be here, as we often correct people who had the same weather-related misconceptions as we did. Our area of Southwest Washington and the Portland metro area is not constant rain and gloom and offers weather like this, sunny. This temperature on this day was about in the low to mid 70s, so it was an absolutely gorgeous day, as you can see. We have a bit of a mix on this first part here as we're approaching the river, which you will see shortly, of some industrial areas. Now, the reason you see so many cars going back and forth is that this is the northmost street in Portland that will take you from I-5 to 205. So it's sometimes, depending on where you're coming from and where you're going, one of the easiest ways to get across the city in the north side of town. So we just passed an RV park, and now we are approaching Clemens Marina on the left, and you will start to see the Columbia River. To the left, those trees you see, that's Hayden Island. There are tons of boating-related businesses along the north side. So we just passed the Portland Yacht Club. On the left, we'll be passing Columbia Edgewater Country Club, which is a renowned golf course. And you'll see several detached homes that can range up to $3 million. And many of those have their own private docks for boats. I'll insert some pictures here. So as we continue, you'll start to see those boat-related businesses we're talking about. Everything from floating home communities to sailing lessons to different yacht clubs to harbors. Rightly so, a lot of boating activity that happens. If you're wondering if boating activity happens on the Columbia, absolutely yes. You see pushers and dredging happening and commercial boats and private boats and yachts and sea-doos and canoes. You see all sorts of things. So that's mostly what we're passing. Also, along Marine Drive, you will see the airport, which will be on the right side of the screen. On the left, we have Salty's on the Columbia. This is a historic seafood restaurant synonymous with Old Portland. It's a restaurant that has rich food and live jazz on Fridays. Look out for a future video spotlight on Salty's. This is one of our favorite restaurants in Portland with great views. The land you're now seeing on the left side of your screen, that is Vancouver. And one of the things that looking online and maps will not convey really is how much elevation we start to have the second you get off of the riverbank. So there are homes on the Vancouver side that are right on the river. We definitely have, I would say, more riverfront homes on the Vancouver side than on the Oregon side. As you can see here, the airport is to our right now. And there's also a really nice bike path. It's a very long bike path along the Columbia River. So if you want to bike or walk or jog, you'll definitely see people being active. And that's actually up on the bank to my left. On the horizon on the right, you can now see the flight control tower of PDX, as well as you can start to see very faintly in the distance, it was a little hazy on this day, Mount Hood. It's about 90 miles away, looming in the distance. As this riverbank on the left starts to subside because they have to protect the runway, which is why there's such a high bank here to prevent any sort of flooding of the airport because it's lower lying. Oregon doesn't have as much elevation on the riverfront as Washington does. Because once you come off of the Columbia River on the Washington side, the elevation increases pretty quickly. Even just a couple blocks off of the river, you start to get some serious elevation, which is great for views, and it's great for residential housing and increasing the amount of homes that have river views and views of the Oregon skyline, which is really nice. Now, the next body of land you'll start to see on your left is Government Island. Government Island is a 1,700-acre island that is uninhabited, just north of mainland Portland. It is still in Multnomah County. While the I-205 Glen Jackson Bridge passes over it, you can only reach the island by boat. To give you an idea of how expansive this island is, we'll be seeing it for a while now. On the left, it actually has a lake and several trails on it, and it is open to the public, so you will see, especially in the summer, lots of boats docked there, people camping or having beach days. You can camp on the island on the perimeter. It's got 15 miles of shoreline total. And actually, the explorers Lewis and Clark visited the island way back in 1805. So it's a very rich island. There are some endangered species that inhabit the island. You can hike through it. It's a great recreation area, and there are several uninhabited islands along the Columbia River as you go out into the Columbia Gorge. So that's pretty cool. As we start to approach the 205 bridge, you'll see on the right we have long-term airport parking, which Jarrett and I frequent and is the most convenient way for us to travel. Of course, you can take Uber and Lyft, and just depends on what we're doing, how long we're gone. The longer we're gone, the more likely we are to take Uber and Lyft, and the shorter the trip is, we use long-term parking. It's about $12 a day as of 2022. You'll also begin to see some clusters of what is a super sensitive and sore subject in our area, and that's the issue of homelessness and homelessness camps, which both the cities of Portland and Vancouver are trying to address. But if I'm being honest, it's never to the satisfaction of everyone. Vancouver has some really great programs that they've implemented, and Portland's actually kind of copied, one of which is called Stay Safe Community. I will post some information about it in the description. It's been a very successful program in Vancouver, and Portland has actually started to implement it as well. Now, this side, west of 205, we're about to go under I-205, has been cleaned up quite a bit in the recent months, but once you cross to the east side of 205, you'll start to see an increase and concentration of camps and campers and vehicles. This is one of the worst parts of the homelessness crisis in Portland, in my opinion. It's one of the more dangerous places from what I understand from the news reports. Obviously, I'm not walking through different camps to know them intimately. But that is something that the cities are working on addressing. And as you can see, there's some planes coming in, very active flight path. Now, a lot of people who live in Vancouver will come over that 205 bridge to frequent the airport. Some of the businesses here, for instance, there are a lot of furniture shops, like discount furniture shops where you can buy items. The busiest Costco in the country is also along this path. It is about 2 blocks south or to the right, and you could turn off of one of these streets to get to that Costco. There's a Goodwill outlet and just various businesses that you might want to support, more of an industrial area of town. As we continue to go east, you can still see Government Island, so you can get a grasp of exactly how large it is. It's a very long, skinny island in the middle of the Columbia. When you're on the 205 bridge, the 205 bridge is about 2 miles long, which just gives you an idea of how wide the Columbia River is. And so what you're seeing right now is only about half of the river, and the side that we're on is actually the more narrow part of the river. We're also passing some single-family detached housing on the right, and we'll be approaching some of, in my opinion, the nicest floating homes in Portland. Because you're across from Government Island, you're really getting this more scenic, sexy view, and some of those homes can range in the 2,000 square feet, 2,500 square feet range, and can cost upwards of $700,000. So they're not cheap, but it's, if you are very into water life and boating, a lot of them have enclosed boat garages, so you can walk downstairs and go into your boat garage instead of your car garage and be on the water in a matter of minutes. So it definitely offers a lifestyle to people who want to be on the river a lot more than, just once a month or however often people frequent their boats. You'll start to see some of those floating homes here on the left that are across from Government Island. And I'll insert some photos so you can get a better idea of what they look like, including what a boat garage is like. As far as parking, they park their vehicles, their cars, typically in outdoor parking lots like you're seeing on the left. On the right, we've passed several industrial warehouses, and the Portland side of the Columbia River is a mix of residential and industrial, whereas the Vancouver side, once you pass Marine Park and some of the port and boat-related businesses, it becomes much more residential on the east side of Vancouver. Now, if you look on the left, in between the trees, you will see a hill. And if you're wondering what that is actually Prune Hill in Camas. Those hills on the left, especially in the foreground. So as we reach the end of Government Island, we're across from Camas, and we're nearing the end of being in the city of Portland. The bordering city along Marine Drive is Gresham. There's Prune Hill. And now on the right, we have Blue Lake Regional Park. So there's lots to do. As you can tell, as we've gotten more east, it's become a lot less crowded, and it starts to turn into the Columbia River Gorge. So as we're going through Gresham, you'll pass an area called Interlochen, and if you continue on Marine Drive, it'll put you out and end at Highway 84 in Troutdale, right near the Columbia Gorge Outlets, which is an outlet mall in Troutdale. Now, Troutdale is the gateway to the gorge, just like Washougal is on the north side of the river. And that is where the Columbia River Gorge starts, where you can go to countless hikes and explore the great outdoors for a lifetime. There's so much to do out there, so many hikes and places to explore. And one of the very enriching parts of living in the Portland metro area. So we're going to exit here and turn around. We were initially planning on going to Costco, but wanted to film and show you guys a pretty cool part of Portland. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave your thoughts as well as any future driving tour requests that we can consider. And if you know someone who's considering a move to or within the Portland metro and greater Vancouver area or Southwest Washington, shoot me a text right now. I look forward to being a resource to help buy, sell, or invest in the Pacific Northwest. Talk to you soon. Ciao.